I realized that it's December 1st, which means I want to talk about the books that I read in November. I'm currently in my hotel room leaning up against this radiator because I haven't been warm in days, I feel like. But I'm about to go outside and oak, and then I'm gonna come in and talk about the books that I read in November. It's been like 40 minutes since I just said what I said in the past clip. So, the first thing I read was Vladimir Sorokin's short story Horse Soup. That was a short story that's available for free online, and it's funny without trying to be funny. I like reading things where it's a situation that's so impossible or so improbable, yet the situation is like so real, so dire. Like, even though you would think, yeah, there's no way there would be a person that would force a woman to eat in front of him and basically be like acting all fucking weird while she's eating in front of him. Like, it seems like he's getting off or something. Like, never in a million years would it happen, at least the way it happens, like, in the story. You know, I'm not gonna explain every detail. But even though that's so unlikely and impossible, it's so real and serious when you're reading it, and it takes a turn, and it just kind of makes you feel uncomfortable the whole time. Maybe it's a little humorous, and the way that it all comes across is just, I don't know, a really unique voice. So that was the first thing I read. Then after that, I finished the book North Woods by Daniel Mason. I just realized I'm probably making crazy faces as I'm rubbing this in. I loved it from the beginning. It basically follows like 300 years, I believe, of a plot of land in the North Woods of Massachusetts, and every single chapter is kind of different and about a different person or entity, or like all of these living things that inhabit the property and the grounds and the woods. You kind of see the timeline progress from the very first Protestant couple that ran away and established their home there however many years ago. And each story is so gripping and so exciting, and they all string together so well in a way that's not really corny. It's really well done, and it is really representative of the way like each generation influences the next, even if you don't have any idea about the role the past played in your present. So the fact that it kind of gets you thinking about those things and does such a good job of exhibiting all of that, like through multiple perspectives, multiple narrative styles, it's just a really great book. And the ending was not at all what I was expecting, but it did make sense, and it just was like, I was really emotional when I finished it, actually. So I loved that. And actually, the copy that I have, being an advanced proof, it's like much wider and bigger. So it was just like this nice brick in my hand, and like the cover is beautiful, and I just loved the entire experience of reading it. Then after that, I read The Wren by Anne. Why is Cartwright coming to mind? I have no idea. I don't have any of the books with me. Obviously, I'm not home. But she's an Irish author. And this book I liked, but at the same time didn't love. It was definitely really enjoyable and good. There was nothing really to complain about. I kind of felt like I wanted the story to go in a different direction, and that's just how I felt about it. But the prose was beautiful. I think my problem is like, I don't like poetry. I've never given a shit about poetry. Normally breeze right through it, like Pale Fire, reading the poem. I don't care how important it is to understanding the prose section of that book. I'm like, it goes in one ear and out the other. I was trying to read Dante's Inferno for weeks, and I just was like, no. Give me a full sentence, please. Like even in Northwoods when there were some poems, I think like I'm just okay, like we scanned the page. The Wren is a story about a mother and a daughter, and the third central character is no longer alive when you're reading the present narrative. The daughter's grandfather, the mother's father, and the way his relationship with his daughter informed the way she chose to raise her daughter and like way their relationship works. And all like underlying all of this is the grandfather's poetry. And I think what I liked most about it is the amount of descriptions and references to different birds because I love birds. So yeah. Then after that, I read Elif Batuman's The Possessed. Adventures in Russian books and people who read them, I think is what my handwriting said. I'm considering grad school right now, and it was just a really nice time to read this and kind of know for sure that I would never ever want to go to grad school for anything related to literature. Since this is nonfiction and it's kind of about her, like her academic journey, it was really motivating and informative because I don't really know very many people close to me who have gone to grad school who I can talk to. So it's nice to read a new perspective, especially somebody who's been able to learn a language that I'm trying to learn. I don't really know what else to say about it because it was like I'm interested in the topics that she's researching, but I feel like if you're not, then it could be kind of boring or drag on because there were parts where I was like, all right, like I can't grasp so much geographical information at once and like comprehend the linguistics of shit, but there were real gems in there, real like eye-opening anecdotes, really interesting stories that make you kind of understand her as a person a little bit better and see how she grows and changes as a person from the time she takes her initial notes and lives her experiences to when she actually writes it down and publishes it many years later. So yeah, enjoyed for sure. And then last I read Dostoevsky Portrayed by His Wife. I bought this book at a vintage store. I was like on my hands and knees looking through all their old ass books, and there's never anything that I want in those piles, but for some reason I kind of felt like there's going to be something here, and I see it on the spine, and that was like a year or 2 years ago, and I just picked it up randomly like in my last week of being home, and it's basically a collection of Anna Dostoevsky's journals and her previously published work about her husband, and also like letters between other people, and kind of like connected in their lives, letters from Tolstoy to some other dude that was beefing with Dostoevsky. So I wish I had the book with me because it was published in 1926 in England, like first edition of the translation, which is really cool. And there are pictures of the Dostoevsky family in it. I get to some parts where, again, you know, it's just too much. Like you're trying to get through it because it's like letters between people and notes, and you're trying to keep all these names straight. But what was most moving was the very beginning where Anna talks about how she met Dostoevsky. She was basically hired to be his, to write his new novel in shorthand while he dictated it to her. He had a time limit because he had all these debts he had to pay, and in order to borrow the money needed to pay for these debts, he had to have The Gambler done in like 20 days or 26 days or something crazy like that. And over time, like they're working together every single day, and when they finished the project, they found that they really missed each other and kept making excuses to see each other. And it's her firsthand account, and it's really, really sweet. Everything that I read about their intimate relationship, reading the pages that are just him unable to stop going to the roulette table, asking her for money, pawning all of their belongings within the span of a couple of hours. It's just wonderfully written, and it's amazing that we have so much information on these people and this time period, and letters between others that kind of reveal truths about their relationships And, you know, maybe some people don't find them important or meaningful or anything, but first, just if they were regular ass people and you didn't know who they were, but you were reading this, it's so authentic and like so you're just seeing the life that these people were living, and they're putting everything into it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not just some passive life. Like, there's always something going on. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of, I don't know. I really liked it.